Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." That's right. The same man who unlocked the secrets of the universe believed this simple financial concept was just as powerful. So, what is compound interest? And why did Einstein think it was more important than E equals mc squared when it comes to building wealth? In this video, I'm going to show you how compounding works, why time is your greatest financial asset, and how this one idea can quietly turn small amounts of money into millions, if you understand it early enough. Imagine you're standing at the top of a snowy hill. You reach down, pack together a small ball of snow, and give it a gentle push. At first, not much happens. The snowball rolls slowly, barely growing in size. You might even wonder if it's doing anything at all. But then, as it continues down the slope, it picks up more snow. Gradually, the ball gets bigger, and the bigger it gets, the more snow it collects with each rotation. Soon, the change becomes impossible to ignore. The ball isn't just rolling anymore, it's accelerating. It's growing faster, rolling faster, and becoming heavier with every turn. By the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, it's enormous, far beyond what you imagined when you first nudged it forward. That's exactly how compound interest works. It doesn't grow at a constant speed. It accelerates. Slowly at first, almost imperceptibly. But over time, the momentum builds. And if you give it enough time, the results can be mind-blowing. Compound interest is the financial equivalent of that snowball. It's when your money earns interest, and then that interest earns more interest, and that interest earns even more. To put it short, compounding is just a fancy word for earning interest on your interest. Just like the snowball that picks up more snow as it grows, your investment picks up more money as it compounds. And the larger your investment becomes, the faster it grows. This isn't just theory, it's the exact reason why people who start investing early, even with small amounts, often end up with far more wealth than those who invest larger sums later in life. It's not just about how much you invest, it's about when you start and how long you let compounding do its work. Let's now break it down with a simple example, so you can see exactly how this force works in practice and why time is the most powerful ingredient in building wealth. Let's say you invest $10,000 at a 10% annual return. Sounds straightforward, but what happens next depends entirely on what you do with the interest you earn. In the first scenario, you earn the interest but don't reinvest it. Each year, your investment gives you $1,000. That's 10% of $10,000. But you take that $1,000 out into your pocket. Every year, you make the same $1,000. So after 30 years, you've earned $30,000 in total interest. And your account still only holds the original $10,000. This is called linear growth. Each year has the same fixed amount. It's predictable, but it doesn't accelerate. Your investment hasn't grown. It just paid you a steady income. Let's now look at the second scenario. You reinvest the interest. Now, instead of taking the $1,000 out, you leave it in the investment. And this is exactly where the magic happens. The following year, you earn 10% not on $10,000, but on $11,000. That's $1,100. The following year, you earn 10% on $12,100, and so on. The key difference is that now, your money is earning interest on your previous interest. This is exactly the snowball effect we explained at the beginning. Because you're letting your interest compound, your investment now follows exponential growth, and not a linear one. After 30 years, your investment has grown to over $174,000. That's more than 5 times the total return from simple interest, all from letting your interest work for you. But here's where things get even more impressive. In the third scenario, let's say your investment doesn't pay interest once a year, but instead pays it monthly. You still earn 10% annually overall, but now that's split into 12 smaller payments, one each month at about 0.83%. And each time you receive a payment, you reinvest it. By the end of 30 years, that same $10,000 grows to nearly $200,000. Why? Because you're compounding more often. and that gives your money more opportunities to grow. The interest is working for you every single month, not just once a year. This is why compounding frequency also matters a lot. The more often your returns are reinvested, whether daily, monthly, or annually, the faster your wealth grows. So it's not just about how much you earn, but how often those earnings are allowed to generate their own earnings. Each reinvestment adds a new layer of growth, and over time, this accelerates the compounding effect dramatically. So, how do investors actually measure the power of compounding? And how is this different from the basic yield formula? The answer lies in something called the effective yield. Let me show you how it works with a simple example. Imagine you buy an asset for $1,000 that pays 12% interest per year. That's $120 a year, but instead of paying it all at once, it pays you quarterly. So every 3 months, you're getting $30. Now, if you just pocket those $30 every month and don't reinvest them, you'll end up with $120 at the end of the year. Pretty straightforward. $120 divided by your original $1,000 gives you a 12% yield. Nothing special. But what if instead you reinvest each $30 payment back into the same asset as soon as you get it? Now, those reinvested amounts start earning interest too. And when this interest is earning interest, you can reinvest it as well. By doing that, at the end of the year, you'll have earned not just $120, but close to $126. That extra $5.5 is your interest on interest, showing you the magic of compounding at work. When we use the effective yield formula, this means your real return wasn't 12%, but 12.55%, all thanks to reinvesting as you go. So effective yield is simply a way to factor in compounding when you're measuring how much your money is really growing. Now, just to be precise, the examples here are using formulas for annual yield and effective annual yield. Basically, how much you've earned over a year. There are more complex formulas for measuring compounding over different time periods, but we won't get into those details in this video. Before we move on, I want to highlight 2 important points. Point number 1, these formulas assume that every time you get paid, you can reinvest that income straight away, at exactly the same rate. But in real life, that's not always possible. Most investments don't guarantee the same rate or payout schedule forever. Point number 2, in some investments, this compounding happens automatically. You don't have to do anything. Take stocks, for example, which we'll cover in depth in a future video. If you buy shares in a company and those shares appreciate in value, the rising price is automatically reflected in your portfolio. If its price rises by 10% on the first year, then 10% on the second year, then 10% on the third year, that percentage is always with respect to its price 1 year before, not the initial price at which you bought it. So your investment will not have grown by 30% after 3 years, but by 33.1%. With these types of assets, you don't need to reinvest anything manually. The compounding is built in as long as you hold the asset. But with other assets, like rental properties or bonds, that pay interest in cash, the situation is different. The payments land in your account, often monthly or quarterly, but unless you reinvest them, that cash just sits idle. For compound growth to truly take effect, you have to take action and reinvest those earnings into new income-producing assets. So, while compound interest is a universal principle, the actual benefits depend not just on the investment itself, but on how often it compounds, whether a reinvestment is automatic, and how consistently you put your returns back to work. The most successful investors don't just choose good assets, they also manage their reinvestment strategy with intention. Let's now look at one of the most powerful lessons in all of investing. A lesson so important that nearly every successful investor lives by it, and yet most people ignore it until it's too late. It's the idea that investing early, even in small amounts, is far more powerful than investing large sums later in life. To make that idea crystal clear, I want to introduce you to 2 people, Alex and Jamie. Both of them are smart. Both of them are committed to building wealth. But they take 2 very different approaches. Alex starts at age 25. They invest $1,000 per month, consistently, for 40 years, until they retire at 65. They don't touch the money, they don't try to time the market, and they earn a steady 10% annual return, and those 10% are always reinvested every year. At retirement, guess how much money Alex walks away with? More than $6.3 million. Now meet Jamie, who waits until age 45 to begin investing. To catch up, Jamie invests $5,000 per month, 5 times more than Alex, but they only have 20 years until retirement at 65. They also earn 10% per year on their investments. At retirement, Jamie ends up with about $3.8 million. Here's the mind-blowing part. Jamie invested a total of $1.2 million. Alex invested just $480,000. So Alex invested less than half as much money and ended up with nearly twice as much wealth. Why? Because compounding is all about time. Every dollar Alex invested in their 20s and 30s had decades to multiply. Jamie tried to catch up by pouring in more money, but without time, compounding simply didn't have enough runway. This isn't just a theory, it's a financial truth. Investing early and consistently beats investing late with larger sums. Even if you can only invest a modest amount in your 20s or 30s, do it. Because once time passes, there's no getting it back, and no amount of money can recreate those missed compounding years. If you're curious to see how compounding frequency and investment duration affect your returns, there are plenty of free calculators online where you can compare APR versus APY, adjust the compounding frequency, and see how your money could grow over time. Whether you're saving, investing, or borrowing, these tools can help you understand the real cost or benefit of interest over time, so they're worth checking it out if you want to dive deeper. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap what we've learned. Compound interest is interest on interest. The longer your money stays invested, the faster it grows. Compounding frequency matters. Monthly compounding beats annual compounding, even at the same rate, because your returns get reinvested more often. Effective yield shows the true picture. Unlike yield, it includes the effect of compounding, and over time, the small difference can add up to huge results. Investments that appreciate in value, like stocks or Bitcoin, compound automatically. Investments that generate income, like rental properties or bonds, require you to reinvest your earnings to unlock that growth. And most importantly, time is your greatest asset. Starting early and staying consistent, even with small amounts, is how wealth is truly built. So, compounding shows you how wealth grows over time. But here's what most people miss. The rules of the investing games aren't written by you, but by banks and central banks. If you don't understand them, your wealth can be eaten away without you even noticing. But if you do, you can use them to your advantage and accelerate your path to financial freedom. This is why in the next video, we'll uncover how the financial system actually works and how you can play it smart to protect and grow your money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.